guys, you're watching Revolver MMA. I'm Javier, and I'm with Eddy Ellis. Okay, Eddy, for the guys that don't know who you are, can you explain like your background? Can you elaborate on that? Fighting career?
Started out wrestling. I knew a couple of guys that have been doing MMA for a few years when I was still early, and I had my first fight when I was 16 in the year 2000, and then it's been almost 13 years since then, and had almost a little over 50 fights. Yeah, I fought in square cages and little rings and small garages all over the place, and then now I'm stepping up to the bigger show.
Yeah. Who got you involved in it? How did you hear about it? What did you watch? What got you fighting?
Well, I saw UFC when I was really young, 5th or 6th grade. I was watching a couple of guys' birthday parties and stuff like that. Their dads ran it. Thought it was great. Thought my dad would probably do it. And then one of my buddy's cousins came to our wrestling room and brought a video of him fighting in a garage in Tacoma. It was like an industrial building. He was fighting in a ring. And he was a normal sized guy. He wasn't a giant of the UFC had that been. And I was thinking, man, this guy's normal. Hey, regular people do this shit? I was like, I want to do that. So wrestling was a point where I liked wrestling, but there was something I wanted to do more. I wanted to do more things than just be able to wrestle. You know, I wanted to strike. I wanted to submit. It looked fun. So that was the birth of the whole thing.
Wow. And what steps did you take to accomplish your goals? Like, you saw it, you fell in love with it, then what did you do?
Well, knowing that wrestling was such a dominant side of the sport, even from what I watched with the giant guys in the UFC, and the guy that had showed me a video, he was one of our state champions from my high school. So I knew that wrestling was the foundation of the sport. And I just thought if I just kept wrestling, it would increase my ability to control the fight. And then I started fighting while I was still wrestling in school. So every wrestling practice just seemed like it was more like fight training, and it just worked out.
Nice. As far as stand-up, what's your style? What would you call it?
I don't know really. I enjoy the boxing side of things, but it depends on the season of the year that I like. My style's changed through the winter time. It seems like I become more of a wrestler and a ground kind of person. Through the spring and summer, I like to box and kickbox. I don't know if it's the heat or I don't know what it is, but it changes my style through the year. Every year is the same.
Nice.
Like right now, it's starting to get cold, and I want to grab men and curl them up.
Make them into pretzels.
That's right.
Nice, nice. So, as far as like coaching wise, like your coaches who set like foundation for you in wrestling and stand up, who would they be?
Well, you got to get credit where it's due. Dennis Hallman started out my career. Showed me the ins and outs, the wrong way and the right way of doing a lot of things. I don't know if it was really on his idea to show the wrong way, but that was just what he was doing at the time.
Right.
So I just kind of tagged along, and I figured out what to do, what I shouldn't be doing along the way. Probably could have had a little better guidance. My record shows for a little bit of that, fighting pro fights when I wasn't even 18 yet, and just taking fights. I wanted to be a pro fighter, so it's not his fault. He said, "You want to fight pro?" I was like, "Hell yeah, I want to be a pro." You know, I didn't. It was more the title than it was actually the level change.
Right.
And like I said, it showed in my record a bit, but at the same time, I learned a lot. I couldn't take away any of those years because I've learned so much from doing things like that. Yeah, it was a constant learning lesson. It still is.
Nice. So, out of all your wins, which win stands out the most? Because I know you have a lot of submissions and a lot of knockouts.
Yeah.
But which fight, which win, is the one where you just think back and say, "Damn, I was on it that day."
That's tough. That's tough. I've had a few good fights where I've gone not easy, but my way the whole fight.
Right.
I like kind of coming back from adversity. You know, those are also good fights.
Wins, yes.
But they're all so many different varieties. I don't like necessarily getting the submission win as much. Those don't feel near as satisfying as either making somebody quit with strikes or making somebody just get knocked out. Nice. That's kind of the part I feel. It's more relieving for that matter. Winning's winning, but that release of something when you get the knockout, that's probably the fun part of winning.
Plus the crowd loves that too, so that's always a good thing.
For sure.
Yeah, exactly. All right, well let's do. What titles do you have under your belt? Like what championships?
I won the Dome Destruction title in '06. They were having a big show at Tacoma Dome for a little while, and I won that belt. And then the Emerald Queen had a last-minute replacement fight, and I was out on knee surgery for about a year, and they called me and knew that I just gamed pretty much all the time, and I was looking for a way to come back and a reason to come back, and they gave me a title shot, and I was thinking, well, that's perfect, you know. Came out a little rusty, got banged on a little bit by a tough up-and-comer, but took him down, and I got the submission. Like I said, again, it wasn't that much of a release. I was more irritated that I didn't get a bang on the back. Quit so flipping early. It was like I barely sunk the choke, and he was tapping already. I'm like, you little sucker! Yeah, you punched me. I didn't get to do anything back. You know? Yeah. So I like my most memorable title shot is the one where I fought J.P. Taylor, a veteran out of Oregon. I even fought on a few of his shows when I was coming up, and then we ended up fighting each other on a bigger casino show, and I got the boss root and liver punch knockout, which was pretty gratifying. So
yeah. I always hear about that punch. I got to see it. What does your training days look like? Like, what's the day in your life when you're in your training camp and you're preparing for fights? What's your, what's going on in your head?
Well, training always changes when even if the training schedule doesn't change as much as just your style and your attitude towards the training. I could be training next to guys doing the same thing I'm doing for my camp, that when I'm getting ready for a fight, my mentality for the reason I'm doing everything from the warm up to the stretch out, the cool down, it's all focused mentally for my fight. When the guys are just doing it to be a partner or just to help me out, and I'll get in twice as good a shape as the guys at the end of the camp. I'm peaking and they're still like just struggling through the workouts because their mentality isn't going to do as much. But I know I get up, I get a slow workout on my own, like a light stretch out, like kind of like a warm up stretch out, same simultaneous time before people get here usually. Okay. And then people start trickling in, usually 10-15 minutes at a time, and start slow roll, and then breaking the strength and conditioning towards the end of the practice for my morning classes. And then rest, eat, heal up. That's the main thing, yeah. And then nighttime, same thing. I get the same warm up, a good stretch out warm up, and then back to it in the evenings for depending on the day of the week. We kind of flip flops, so we go grappling one day and then kickboxing the next day. Always start with the basics for the first hour. So just kind of keep it simple, keep it on the mat for the first hour, getting your body used to rolling around and twisting up, and then after the first hour we end up throwing the gloves on and going to live MMA after the second hour time. So it usually trickles on to the 2.5 hour point, and then do a cool down.
Cool. Yeah. So tell us something outside of the cage and outside of fighting. What do you do? What's your, I know fighting's your release and training's your release, but what's your release from training and all that stuff? What do you do outside?
Oh man,
that people don't know. What you do?
Training in a different style, I guess. We go hiking and running in the woods. I like those kind of things, and get my dogs out. My dogs I take running all the time. We have lots of nice trails around here. And, so it's another workout, but it's away from the gym. So swimming, I like to do that as well. Anything that opens the lungs up and doesn't beat my body to death. Anything extra would help.
Okay, cool. Let's talk about tough, man. Whatever you can talk about.
Most of it. I can talk about most of it. Yeah.
Okay.
Except what's to be. I can't say anything about that. But.
Okay. So how was it being in the house? That's the big question, Yeah.
I'd say the house was a combination of a good training camp, and then being in jail. You're on complete restrictions. So, I can imagine why guys in jail make dice and things like that. And,
out of soap?
Yeah, and keep themselves going. Cause that was next. We had made a chessboard out of a coffee table with tape, and if we were really contemplating dice or dominoes or cards or some sort. You need to make something for your brain.
Oh my gosh, that's good.
Not getting your own time, like training twice a day, 3 times a day even, at home is one thing, because when you go to your house, it's your serenity time. You get to just clear your mind to be around the people you love. Or at the house there, you get to go and hang out with other guys that are trying to get their quiet time, and no one seems to be getting it, so everyone's kind of on edge, and it's never really relaxing.
So what was one of the things that mentally kept you focused in the game, with all the distractions in the house and all the drama? What was the one thing or the couple things that you did that kept you focused and ready to fight?
Our coaches helped us out. Carlin's a smart guy. He's been involved in sports and on the psychological side of things and physical. So he would give us worksheets and things to read and stuff like that. I don't know what we're supposed to have, but they were a nice break. And then they're still sport related, but it was just good things to think about while you're there. Take your mind on some other athletes that have done probably harder things or that have competed and done well in crunch times like that, and that was really nice to have. And my journal, I get to talk to it.
Okay, so you had like a little journal that you write stuff down?
Yeah, I have pretty much I wrote every single day in that journal. It was probably the most I've ever written in a journal in my life.
I was about to say that. Have you ever? Yeah.
I had that journal for probably 2 years and had nothing in it until I went to that show. Now it's almost full. So
wow.
Yeah, there was lots of things.
Yeah. Right. So looking back on it right now, being in the house, what was one thing that you took in and said, okay, I'm training this way, but I learned all these things. What did you take from that?
A lot of the strength and conditioning that the coach had. He had a real great philosophy about things, how to do warm-ups, how to do stretch outs, how to prepare the body and the nervous system for that kind of competition. And every day was the same. So being consistent, his coaches were on point with everything they did. It was a specific thing you were going to do, and you were going to do it for a reason.
Okay.
So everything's deliberate and purposeful. And that's another thing I took back from that. Is when you do train, you need to be doing it deliberately and purposeful. Not just going in there and getting through it, because that's not going to help you at all.
Right. Okay, so here's some footage from the Ultimate Fighter. I just want to get your thoughts on this video.
Kind of surprised me a little bit. I thought he was going to rush right out and try to take me down. Kind of threw a couple little punches, circled a lot. He was running, kind of running. And I don't know, I just expected him to be a little more powerful in the clinch. I kind of overwhelmed him a little bit in the clinch. And it threw me off a little bit, being a little stronger than him, able to turn him into back in the cage. Second round, I should have just stuffed his takedown and stood back, but instead when he shot kind of lazy like that, I tried to trip, which gave him my hips. He got the takedown, and same old same. My dad used to tell me, don't try, just do. And I was trying to get my guard back way too much, not just doing it.
Yeah, just disappointment.
I've lost a long time, but when you do, it's a terrible feeling. You're low, but whatever. I've made many people feel that same way, so I just suck it up, get back in training, do what I do best. Judge something soft. So I just gotta get over my mental game and push on.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Looking back on it, watching it, what's going on?
Well, the first part when I was talking about what he was supposed to do, I guess I don't have many coaches that watch fighters or implement a game plan. And so when I was going into it, I had new coaches. I had people telling me that if you do this will work. If you do that, this will work. He's going to be doing this. He's going to be doing that. I've watched tape on him, and I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to go with that. And supposedly, what he did in all of his fights was come right forward, throw a huge overhand, and try to get a takedown or try to close the distance in his cage. Whereas we went out, I don't even touch gloves. I think we just came out the center and he just started circling. And I was like, oh shit! Like I was expecting, I'm expecting a high level, like a lot of pressure, and I was basically going out there ready to defend. And defend for the first couple minutes even. I was thinking there's gonna be a lot of pressure, high intensity. When he started just circling and moving, I was like, what the hell, what's going on exactly? And game planning always messed me up a little bit. As soon as I get into an awkward position that I've seen them do before, throws me off because I'm thinking, oh man, he's trying this move that I watched him do. Rather than going out there and being just ready. And I'm better off being just ready for anything really. And that would help out a little bit if I hadn't been worried about his game plan, hadn't been worried about what he's done in the past, because I already had a good idea of what type of fighter he was. I'd seen him fight the one time on Get in the House, and he was basically the same thing over and over and over again. He just went straight forward, shot takedown, went straight forward, shot takedown. So after he started circling, it kind of threw me off a little bit. I got control of the clinch, and everything was just kind of like caught in a place where you're thinking. And when you're thinking in a fight, there's no time for that. The moment passes too quickly. If you're thinking seconds or 10 moments, and you can't have that break in your brain, because then as soon as you think of something to go to do it, you're a second late. And that's where I felt like I was in a lot of the first half of the first round. I was really trying to catch myself in the moment, trying to get myself in the moment, stay there, rather than in the moment back to thinking again, what's he doing next? What am I doing next? And there's no place for that in the fight. And once I did catch him, I got overexcited. I dropped him, and I was like, ugh. And then my excitement for the fact that I thought that it was going to be overcame also. It took me over a bit, and I just went a little overboard, went crazy with it, and I don't know, the whole thing was kind of awkward. And it just kind of threw me off my normal fight plans, my normal way I strategize, completely different. And It's probably the same for everyone else. I mean, I feel that it was probably easier for the guys that didn't have as many fights because maybe they weren't used to anything yet. And because they're not used to it, they're kind of rolling with punches.
Right.
When I used to fight younger, I would fight, and right after the fight that night, I would want to do it again immediately. Because I was like, man, I had so many things I want to do better, or I saw what I could do. But now I'm thinking, when I fight, and I do what I planned on doing, what I trained to do. I get out of the fight, I look back on it. I want to rethink things eventually, but not within the next night or 24 hours from now and think, okay, I'm going to fight again next week.
Right.
So that was also a different part of it. Those guys with younger fights, they were all eager to try again and fix mistakes and do this and that. And I'm thinking, I just want to get back to what I do best.
Right.
So it all was weird.
Right.
A weird thing.
So for your fans out there, what's next for Eddy Ellis?
Gosh, I
What's
cool.
next and responsible?
It's still kind of open. What we have going on for the UFC, I have a free fight contract when we sign the Ultimate Fighter.
Okay.
Depends on if they like the way we fight on the show, if they want to bring us back or not. I know the finalists obviously get in, but it's all a question of whether or not they're going to use any of the extras, basically.
Right.
So if not, I gotta just walk those shoes and probably defend a couple of my belts that I still have out there. And you know, the idea is to go finish guys in devastating fashion, make myself a name to be wanted again.
Right.
Like I said, these are exhibition fights on the show, so I really still haven't lost since '07. But,
okay.
But when it comes down to it, I did lose. I lost a game show and I lost a fight. So I need to work on some things that maybe putting myself in different pressure situations, so I don't get. I think more of the fatigue and things like that from the cameras or the idea of being somewhere uneasy. I think a lot of that is needed to train into your game as well. So traveling other places, going to people's gyms, it gets you a little nervous. You don't know what to expect. That kind of stuff is necessary.
Right.
So I think doing a little bit of that, and then like I said, going out there and smoking some guys in the first round would probably help boost me back in there as well.
Right on. Sponsors? Anybody?
Well, as of right now, we have Precision Resistance. They're the machine in the back. Probably one of the best machines I've got in the gym. Helps me rehab myself and keeps me in good shape.
Cool.
And then we got Revolver. Thanks for coming out here, guys.
Hey, no, thank you. Thank you. It was an honor.